Yo, 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 welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. And before we get to our guest today, we have a big shout out for Living Sisu. Living Sisu is a platform and app that wants to give you all the tools to have success in your sport. Their main objective is to activate your lifestyle. So it's for active people. Enjoy discounts at companies like BioSteel, 30% off, Body Logics, the Goalie Guild, all his books are discounted. Roan, Lululemon for men, 20% off. Online stretching programs with Eccentrics, 1 full month free. They got super silent massage guns, 20% off those. And it's a great quality. It's way less expensive than a Theragun, and it's great quality. So there's so many more discounts that you guys will need to just become a member to see. So they want to provide you with anything you need for success. So come join the community. I'm a part of it. A bunch of other athletes are a part of it. So it's free to join. It takes 20 seconds to get exclusive offers to your sport, and it's definitely worth it. So do us a huge favor and go sign up for Living Sisu's membership. It's free, takes 20 seconds. So go do it, and we'll see you there. Living Sisu is a great company. We know one of the co-founders, Zach Fricali. He's a great guy. He's the co-founder. He does a lot of live streams on Instagram at Living Sisu, and with a bunch of elite athletes, and you learn a lot from like the athletes' determination, their resiliency, everything to what made them become successful. So it's been a great experience so far. So go on. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. So go sign up. Yo, welcome back to another episode of On Spot Sports. I'm Jack. In today's episode, we are joined by a very special guest, current professional hockey goaltender Jake Kupsky. Jake is currently a professional hockey goaltender in the ECHL with the South Carolina Stingrays. He also spent time with the Pensacola Ice Flyers, where he won the SPHL President's Cup this season. So congrats to him on that. And he played a game in Greenville earlier with the Swamp Rabbits this season. He played NCAA Division I hockey with Union College and also spent one season in the North American Hockey League. So, Jake, really excited to have you on. So, welcome to the show, Jake Kupsky.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, no problem. It's been a long time in the making, but I'm glad we have a SPHL championship. So let's start this thing off with just this, how crazy this season has been. Like we were talking before, you're assigned to Idaho before the season, and then they opted out, and then I was probably a scramble a little bit to find your way to Pensacola. But I know you played Pensacola last year, so like, can you take us through like how this season has gone, like how you found Pensacola and like how you guys did throughout the season?
Yeah, so like you said, I was signed in Idaho. Played with them a little bit last year. Signed with them at the end of the season, and then coming into this season, obviously everything was like up in the air with COVID and everything, and it was all good to go. Like we were planning on playing and everything, and I think we were one of the last teams to opt out. So it was just kind of like, all right, well, what do I do now? All the coast teams have goalies, and a lot of teams are opting out. So there's a lot of goalies in the market. So I called my old coach in Pensacola and asked him if I could come down and play for him. And he said, yeah. So I started down there, played really well down there, and then luckily got a call up to South Carolina. And I spent about 2 months in South Carolina before I went back down. Went back down for a weekend, and then went to Greenville for like a month, and then finished like a month and a half long stint down in Pensacola and won the championship. So it was kind of a roller coaster of a year, but all worth it. A lot of lessons learned and a lot of fun being had. So it was good.
Yeah, for sure. A wild ride for sure. And you're playing on 3 different teams in 2 different leagues. So that must have been fun to just get back up to the ECHL after playing the SP and then go down for a couple games and get another month in the coast. Like that must have been pretty cool. And just experiencing like all the different cities that you went to and just learn from all the experience you've had over the course of the season.
Yeah, exactly. I think out of like one thing you can take away from this season is just kind of learning to kind of roll with the punches and adapt to whatever situation you're put in and kind of make the most of it. I feel like this year was kind of a wake up call for that, and it was a lot of fun. So it was good.
Yeah, absolutely. So like how did the season, like obviously you guys won the championship in Pensacola. So like what was the season like, and just from like the start when you got there to all the way towards the end when you guys were finally when the final buzzer went off and you guys were President's Cup champions?
Yeah, so our season was also kind of like a roller coaster. We started pretty hot, and then when I took off, didn't really struggle too much, but it was just like they were dropping games here and there. And then when I came back from Greenville, we had some guys that were injured and some guys that were missing, and so we were losing a lot of games, and we were kind of running into some hot teams at the wrong time. So we were kind of in a skid right before the playoffs, and I want to say 3 or 4 weeks, probably 3 weeks before the playoffs started, we kind of started to click again. We started getting guys back in the lineup and started to score a lot of goals. So we started to have a lot more fun, and showing up to the rink every day was just so much easier and so much better. And the guys started finding a rhythm. And I think we went, well, out of the last 3 weeks before playoffs, we lost one game. And then in playoffs, it was 2 best-of-3 series, and we swept the 2 seed and swept the 1 seed. So it was a lot of fun. So
Yeah, absolutely. That must have been a lot of fun. Just the like qualifications were a bit weird because like only the top four teams made it this year, and like best of 3 series. Like how obviously like every game's important at that point. So like what was your mindset going into every game when you guys clean swept the 2 and the 1 seed?
yeah, so I mean, I kind of come into games just like whether it's a playoff game or an exhibition game or a regular season game, try to keep my mind in the same mindset and kind of prepare for every game as it is. So I didn't really change too much. Obviously, it's a different setting and it's a bigger game, but at the end of the day, it's just another hockey game. So I kind of like am a pretty loose guy in the locker room. Like to have a lot of fun. So I just continued that throughout the playoffs and just kind of look for it as like a opportunity to have the time of my life, like win a championship, like incredible. So
Yeah, whatever you're comfortable with is what you got to do, and just you get like especially as a goaltender, like that's super important. Like you just can't overthink about everything, and then you just got to do whatever you can before and after games to help you to like have a cool mind and just be able to just focus on the game and making some saves.
yeah, for sure. For sure. I think you got to find what works for you and just kind of stick with it, whether it's, like I said, a practice, a game, or exhibition, or playoffs, whatever. So,
Yeah, exactly. So take us through like the final game before you guys won the championship and just like everything leading up to the events of the final buzzer going off, then and then the party starts after that.
yeah, yeah. So, it was a little bit weird for the format this year. So we were playing Macon in the final round, and they decided to have the first game at our rink, which we won. So going into the final 2 games, or if it was going to be 2, it was going to be at Macon. So we were on the road, and I think Macon lost 6 games all year. It was 42 game season, and I think they lost 6 regulation games, and then I think 4 in overtime. So 10 games all year. So they were like by far the best team in the league, and they didn't lose much at home at all. I think during the regular season, I'd only beaten them once, and it was in overtime. So we were feeling really confident. Obviously, like we just swept on the road, and then we beat them at home. So we were feeling really good. So going into that game, I think all our confidence was pretty high, and we didn't really think about who they were. We just were pretty set on, hey, like we just need to win one game and it's all ours. So that's kind of all of our mindsets throughout. And it didn't really set in until like the third period. It was 0-0 after the first, and then after the second, it was 3-0. And it kind of started to hit in about like 10 minutes left to go. Like, wow, like this is really happening. And you could tell the guys were just getting pucks deep and just trying to have them in their own zone for a little bit and then get changed and keep doing that. So honestly, it was a pretty stress-free last 10 minutes. And we just kind of rode home with it. The guys played incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then I can imagine what the after party was like, and just having fun with the boys, drinking a few beers, like just shooting the shit, and just everything like from like the season on, and you're champions at the end. So that's what you play for, is a championship.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's no better feeling in my career than literally coming into the locker room, and our owner and coaches had beers and champagne and cigars for us, and we're just kind of like looking around, grabbing each other, like soaking it in with each other. It's the best feeling in the world. It's hard to explain, but it was awesome.
Yeah, that's unreal. So then a couple days later, you get the call to go back to South Carolina to play in the coast again. So like,
Yeah.
how is you've played in at least one game, maybe even a few more. You played 10 games total this season with South Carolina. So what's South Carolina like, and just going back up to the coast after winning a championship and enjoying some golf?
Yeah. So I got the call from Blair, the coach here, and he just kind of gave me the opportunity, and I was like, yeah, you guys need a guy come up and fill in, and it's just such a great group of guys in this locker room. So it was awesome to kind of come back and see these guys, and we're in the middle of a playoff push here, so whatever I can do to push these guys to help them get to where they need to be is going to be a fun journey, and I'm looking forward to it. But like you said, like the golf here is incredible. I'm a huge golf guy, and a bunch of the guys on the team are. So we usually hit practice pretty hard, and then a few tee times after, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Maybe even another championship, maybe. So that would be pretty cool.
That'd be incredible.
Yeah,
Only,
for
yeah.
yeah, for sure. It's like, what's going up to golf a little bit here. Like, what's been your favorite golf course that you've hit the links at in South Carolina?
We have this country club called Coosaw. It's a pretty sweet place. I'm actually going out to Kiowa Island, where Phil just won on Sunday. So I'm really looking forward to that. That'll be incredible. But around, like you said, South Carolina is just full of gems in the rough, right? Like all the golf courses are pretty sweet around here. So it's been good.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome that you're going to the course that Phil won at. So what's been like your favorite course overall, like throughout like every golf course that you've golfed at?
So it's either between I've played TPC Sawgrass, where they have the Players Championship. So I played that last year. Absolutely loved it. It was super cool. But I think Whistling Straits up in Kohler, Wisconsin, it's like a fairy tale. Like it's breathtaking. Like you're right on the lake there, Lake Michigan, and it's just like it's not even close to like Wisconsin layout. Like the guy just built it from like just completely flat ground and completely changed the whole layout of the land. I love that place. It's gorgeous. So I would probably say Whistling Straits is my favorite course I've played.
Yeah, that's awesome. Low golf in Wisconsin ain't too bad either, especially especially when it's in the summertime.
Yeah, for sure. It's awesome up there.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to get on to like your youth career, your junior career a little bit here, like the origins of your hockey career, I guess you could say. So like, what made you start to become a goaltender, and like what age were you, and like were you always a goalie, or did you like play forward, defense before that, or like what's the origins behind Jake Kupsky's youth hockey story?
Yeah, so my dad is a hockey coach, and my older brother, he's 2 years older than me. He played hockey all growing up, and he was a forward. So early on, like back home, like in street hockey, my brother kind of just threw me in the net to just kind of get in the way of his shots, and I kind of fell in love with it. And then I think I was like 4 or 5 when I strapped on the pads on ice and just fell in love with it. I think I like started out pretty well, so it helped. Like I was having fun, like wearing all the gear and like getting hit with pucks or whatever. But like yeah, after my mite season, I was just like I want to be a goalie all the time. Um, so yeah, that's kind of what started it. My brother kind of threw me in there, and I just kind of fell in love with it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just the customizing gear is pretty cool as well. Like
Yeah,
who wouldn't want to customize their own gear? Like
yeah, I
that's
think
that's a no brainer right there.
Yeah, that's another thing about, like, even still, like, when I get new gear, I'm all, like, excited about it. It's like a little kid on Christmas Day, right? So,
Yeah.
the customized gear and the new gear for a goalie is super cool.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone's always like that, like your gear is super cool and all that. And then like there's times where like, how can you stand getting puck shot at you? But you find that middle, and it's just like, I just
Yeah,
want to keep the puck out of the net. Like
yeah,
that's the
exactly.
fun of it.
Yeah, that's why we do it, right? So,
Yeah, exactly. So going on to high school a little bit here, you played for your high school for
yeah.
4 years.
Yeah, all 4 years I played for the Waukesha Wings. So my dad was the assistant coach there, and my brother was a captain there. So it was pretty cool. Like growing up in Waukesha, like you play with all the kids, obviously growing up, and then we all pretty much go to the same high school. So we have 3 high schools in Waukesha, and they all funnel into the same high school team. So like Waukesha hockey is just very tight knit, very small group. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. And you put up some extremely good numbers throughout that time. So like what do you think helped you become such a successful goaltender in high school? Was it just like from like everyone being close knit, like you said, and just being able to just being there for each other and just enjoying the ride?
Yeah, I think everyone was super close growing up, and we all kind of like played for each other. But at the same time, like Waukesha is such a good like hockey town where you can get on the ice whenever you want. So I was on the ice all the time in the summers and obviously in the winters with the season going on. But like just I played so much growing up that I just feel like that's how I got good, is just working really hard at it, and it kind of paid off there in high school. So
Yeah, for sure. It's like, what would you say is the most important part to being a good goaltender? Like, obviously, like skating super important. Like, you don't realize how important skating is, but once you get to like the higher levels, like you realize that it really is super important.
yeah, I think you hit it right on the head there. Like skating is, I think, the most important thing, and like obviously like it's the worst thing to do. Like no one wants to just sit there and not take shots and work on their movement. But I think the more you develop your movement and get efficient at it and like kind of reading plays, it just helps you so much. Like one of my coaches in juniors always told me like the saves will come. Like let's really like craft your movement. Let's craft your skating, and like you're gonna get in the way of the puck eventually. Like right, like you're gonna get used to making the saves, but let's really get uncomfortable trying to skate and really get uncomfortable trying to do movements. So yeah, like you said, I think skating and really working at it is the hardest thing and the best thing.
Yeah. So, like, would you like set up your practices like where you work on skating for the first like few minutes, and then get to pucks? Or like, what was your structure to like help you with skating and just increasing your efficiency with your crease movements?
Yeah, I think one of the easiest drills is just going out there like 10 minutes, 15 minutes before all the guys get out there and set up 5 pucks like a crease and just kind of move from puck to puck, whether it be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just shuffling all the way across, or T pushing, like it just kind of getting creative with it and just making sure you go out there and like before every practice and get used to your edges before you start seeing the puck. And eventually like just 10 minutes a day before every practice adds up, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, just going out there and doing something will definitely help.
Yeah, it's crazy how you can just tell a difference from like maybe a one skate like it's a little iffy, and then the next skate like it's better, and you get better each and every day with it. And just it's amazing how like you could notice the differences just like that, even if they're really small.
Yeah, exactly. I think you just got to get comfortable doing it, and the more comfortable you get, the better you're going to be at it, and the more confidence you're going to have doing it. So
Yeah, exactly. And just going on to like what else would you do at practice to help yourself? Like obviously like before like after skating, like what would you do to help, like maybe like do some C cuts, or like what would you do to help yourself, like maybe even hinge off the post or something like that?
yeah, so like after practice, like it's a good time to like grab some shooters, and then maybe do a few extra drills where they're goalie specific, right? Like you kind of do the movement before practice, and then after practice, you kind of, hey, this is what I was doing. Let's kind of set up a drill where you're starting to see shots. So you kind of integrate both of them. So like every team that I've been on, I've had some really great guys that have helped me with that. So like just grabbing a couple shooters or one shooter or two shooters and just letting them know like, hey, this is where I want you. This is what I'm going to be doing. Like, I think it's incredible if they do that for you, and it helps you so much. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And just how important are habits? Because habits also go into this because you're doing like shooting and your movements, and like you gotta have it like be perfect. You can't like you're tired after practice, obviously, and you just can't like you have to always keep your hands in front of you. You just and like sometimes when you get tired, like obviously they'll like tend to go back and like into like you're into your body. So like
Yeah.
how important is like the habits there?
Yeah, I know. I think it's incredibly important. Like, there's no reason you should be like doing extra work if you're too tired to do a good rep or whatnot. I'm a pretty big believer of like good reps over a lot of reps. You know what I mean? So like, if you're feeling pretty bagged after practice, instead of like grabbing like 10 reps, maybe do like 4 or 5 or whatever. But like, habits is everything, right? Like, the more you get into that habit later in the game, like let's say you get a little tired, your hands start going back, and boom, you get beat upstairs. So like you just got to really focus on the little things and making sure no matter if you're tired or not, you're doing it right and doing it the right way. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So then going into your high school career a little bit here still, you also play on Team Wisconsin while you were in high school. So like what was Team Wisconsin like and just facing like the best states in the world?
Yeah, so Team Wisconsin was a super cool experience for me. I played Team Wisconsin 16s my sophomore year. And that's just basically a before and after high school season. So before the season, we do a couple of weekends over in Minnesota playing playing the best guys in Minnesota. And then after the season, we do like an end of the year tournament. And then same thing for my 18 year. I did that as well, my junior year. And obviously you're playing mostly against like some Chicago teams and then mostly Minnesota kids. And like the Minnesota high school is like no joke. They produce a lot of players. So it was good to go up there and compete against those guys. And I think it was just you got super close with your teammates, right? Because you were missing all the extracurricular like high school things, right? Like prom and football games and all that stuff. So the Team Wisconsin group was super tight knit and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. And playing high schools from Minnesota, is not a joke. Like they're called state of hockey for a reason.
Yeah, it's no joke up there. And then especially when you get them all like on so that I think they did regions. I think they had like six different regions. So the best kids out of that region. So it was, yeah, they were pretty good. We got a couple years there we got spanked on, but it was good.
Yeah, for sure. So like what would you do when you're playing against these top tier teams and just you might not have the best games? Like what would you do to help yourself just stay in the moment, just be like just focusing on the game, especially when these teams are super good?
Yeah, I think that's when I really started to learn about like hockey's hockey. Like it's just another game, right? You just got to go up there and just trust your stuff and do what you've been doing your whole life and have fun with it. So I think that those few years were pretty crucial, I think, in my career, just kind of understanding, hey, don't be bigger than the moment. Like it's just another hockey game. It doesn't matter that these kids are that much better or what. Just go try to get better and go try to stop the puck and have fun doing it. Like that's the reason I still play hockey, because I'm in love with the game and it's fun for me. Um, and like some people just overcomplicate the game by like taking too seriously and like, yeah, it's going to be hard work and it's going to be hard, but like at the same time it's a game we play as a kid, right? Like you got to
Yeah.
have fun with it. So that's kind of those years I really learned how to like kind of be in the moment and enjoy that, whether we were winning or losing or what. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one game to get better. Like that's what
Exactly.
the way you got to look at it is you're
Yeah.
getting better each and every shot and every game. Like that's all you can focus on.
Yeah, exactly.
So then going on to your junior career a little bit here, you went on to play in the North American Hockey League in the NAHL.
Yeah.
So in the Wild South Division for the Lone Star Brahmas. So like what was the process like to find Lone Star and get a shot in the NAHL?
Yeah, so I kind of had a tough senior year. Like I got cut from Team Wisconsin, and then I didn't know if I wanted to continue playing hockey or not. and one of the local coaches, one of the local high school coaches, Mike Watt, he played in the NHL and KHL, like big name guy, reached out to Dan Wildfong, who's the coach for Lone Star, and was like, hey, like this kid's got kind of nowhere to go, but he's got some potential, like give him a look. So I went down to, it's called Top Notch Showcase, I believe. And he was running it, and it was just basically a way, like, I think it was like a weekend or maybe just over a weekend full of games where there's like a little showcase and a bunch of junior teams were down there. And that's when I kind of started building the relationship with Dan. And I was fortunate enough to get an invite to the camp, like the main camp down there, and made the team and kind of ran with it. It was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, that's awesome that the showcase brought you to Lone Star. So like, how was the South Division? Because I've heard some really funny stories and some,
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I always tell people, like, if I could go back to 1 year playing hockey, I'd be going back to Lone Star. Like it was the craziest year, but it was the most fun year. And like Dallas is such a good spot where we were, and Dan runs an unbelievable organization there, and the guys he brings in are just really good guys. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like the bus, like at the time they all sucked. Like we had 9-hour bus trips. We had like a 20-hour bus trip up to Blaine for the showcase. In the moment, like it was brutal. Like hated every minute of it. But like looking back, like those were the best of times. Like just kind of bonding and joking around with the guys and doing stupid stuff. Like those are the days that you kind of look back on and you're like, I wish I could go back there.
Yeah, those are the times to get all that stupid stuff out and just enjoy it while also being pretty stupid.
Exactly, being a kid and kind of just learning what to do and what the right things are. And yeah, no, it was a lot of fun down there.
Exactly. Did you see a lot of fights up in the South Division?
Yeah, there was probably a fight every other game or every 3 games. Like it was hockey back then too, was like you could do it. And now it's not so much, but yeah, it was pretty eye opening coming right from high school into that South Division, and guys were dropping the mitts like crazy. It was a lot of fun. It was cool to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. So then you go on to play in your first junior season. You played 30 games with a 2.16 goals against average. So like, what made you so prepared to play so many games, especially coming into your first year? And like a lot of guys don't get that shot right away.
Yeah, no, I think I had a great goalie partner with TJ Black. So we kind of went back and forth. So it might seem like a lot of games, but we were playing once a week. Like we were splitting pretty much every weekend. So it kind of lightened up the load. And then in practice, like we were both super competitive and we were pushing each other every day. And TJ's like one of the best goalies I've ever played with. And he, like, just watching him at the other end, like really like drove me to become a better goalie. And so yeah, I think we just pinballed off of each other and made each other better, and it just kind of prepared us for the whole season there.
Yeah, it's there's something about those competitions you have with your goaltending partners and just makes everyone better, not just you, but like everyone on the team, because everyone wants to put the puck behind you, and then you guys are fighting for your job. So everyone just pushes the pace a little bit.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like you just kind of just push that much harder in practice to either score and make that save, and you see the other guy at the other end doing it that much better. It's like, got out my game now. So yeah, you're right. It just pushes the pace a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. So you played in 9 playoff games as well that season. So like, what was playoff hockey like in Lone Star in the NAHL?
Yeah, it was a little different. Like it just kind of the pace of play kind of elevated that much more. Like everything was that much more important. The guys were that much harder to play against, and we had a really good team that year, and we were really focused on trying to win the whole thing and just kind of stepping in there. We were lights out. Like I don't remember having many like games where I was like, wow, I kind of like stole the show. It was like they played so well in front of me. We just kind of ran with it for 9 games, and unfortunately got stumped in our own barn against Austin. But it was a good time. The guys were incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, besides getting knocked out, but
Yeah.
You found yourself getting an award in the NAHL All South rookie team. So like, what was that like, and just being able to like see that your success throughout the season is like seen.
Yeah, like it was really cool to see the award, but like I said, like the guys that year in front of me were so good, and I was a rookie that year. I didn't really know what junior hockey was all about, and then just having such a good group of leadership in front of me, and just good guys in front of me to help me be really well that year, do really well, and that award goes to them as much as it does to me. Like it was a sick team, a really good team.
Yeah, absolutely. So then after your season in the NAHL, you then decide to go the NCAA Division One route,
Yeah.
where you played for Union. So like, what was the process like to sign or commit to Union and just go the Division One route?
Yeah, so about halfway through the season, I got contacted by them, and they told me that they were going to come down, and they were pretty serious about it. And they came down and watched me in a practice, and I think I had a concussion at the time. I was so bad in practice, and I was like, oh my gosh, these guys are here watching. Like, it was the assistant coach, Jason Tapp, good dude, and he kind of pulled me into the office after, and he's like, hey, like, we love you, like, we think you're amazing. And I was like, well, you see what I just did today? Like, I stunk. Like, and he's like, no, it's fine. Like, I'm here this weekend, like, for you. Like, we're watching you. And I ended up playing one game that weekend, and I think I either let in one or had a shutout. And he called me in after, and he's like, we're ready to commit you. Do you want to come to Union? And I was just like, absolutely. My parents were down that weekend, so it was a really cool experience to have him actually fly down and take me out to dinner and see me and kind of talk me through like the whole process. It was awesome.
That's one way to help your commitment is just going from one bad practice to a really
Yeah.
good game.
Yeah. No, I can't remember. I think I had a concussion and I wasn't supposed to be practicing or something, but he was there. So I was like, I got to jump
It's
on the
for the
ice.
scouts, for the
Yeah.
scouts.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, like I think everything was going in. I don't even know if I made a save that day. And he literally said I was sick in practice. And I was like, this guy's full of shit. Like, what are we doing? And then, yeah, then that weekend I played and I played really well. And yeah, he offered me right there on the spot. And I said, yeah. So it was awesome. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome right there. So then you go into your first year of college. Like, what were some of your expectations going in, or were you just like a go with the flow guy and just see how everything rolls after the end of your first season?
Yeah, I'm a pretty go with the flow guy, but like obviously like I have a lot of goals and I like pride myself on like working really hard. So I just wanted to go there and work as hard as I can and wherever it got me, it got me. But I just wanted to go there and get better, whether I was playing or not. And we had all the resources at Union, which was really cool. Like going from juniors to college is such a big step, and like you don't really realize what you're getting yourself into. Like you have video every day, you have goalie coach or like goalie practice, like you have a goalie coach. Like it's so structured and so detailed. Like if you really put the time in and the effort in, you can get your game so much better, like really quickly. So I felt like my first year, that's what I did. Like I was really working hard to like kind of develop who I was as a goalie. I was like coming into college, I was super raw. Like I only played high school hockey and then 1 year at juniors. Um, so yeah, it was a pretty eye opening experience, but like wouldn't change any of it. Like it was awesome.
Yeah, so like, what would you do to help yourself develop into that goaltender, like you said, and especially like what you played high school, you played 1 year of juniors. Like, what did you do to prepare yourself even more as a goaltender and as a person?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was we had goalie ice, like individual goalie ice with our goalie coach, 2 to 3 days a week. So we were out there 30 to 45 minutes, just one on one, and just working on goalie specific stuff. I think that just like helps your game so much. And then you kind of watch film on it, and then obviously watching game film and stuff like that. So I think the biggest thing was just actually like diving deep and like breaking down film and kind of changing your game to make you more efficient in the net, or whether it's however you do it. It's just kind of be more efficient in what you
Yeah,
do.
Yeah, and you learn so much just from watching those videos, and
Yeah,
just you
for
could pick
sure.
things out where you didn't notice before, and then you'd be like,
Yeah,
oh, like there I'm doing something wrong, then there I'm doing something right, and like you learn so much from those types of video.
yeah, absolutely. Like some days you're on the ice and like you feel certain things, but like you feel like you're doing one thing and like you go back and watch the film and it's like I'm not doing that at all. Like so yeah, it's good to kind of go back and be super detailed and kind of learn from the film.
Yeah, for sure. So you played in 10 games your freshman year. So like what was it like getting into the games, especially when like as a freshman, like some goalies get like 1 or 2 games where you got 10 and you're able to gain
Yeah.
more experience than other goalies may have in the past. So like what was that like?
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. I sat I sat the bench. I want to say the first 3 weeks, so I got to watch Alex Sakaropoulos, unbelievable guy, unbelievable goalie. So I got to watch him for a little bit. And then my very first game against Maine, I got a shutout. So I was like on top of the mountain, and then I think I dropped like 6 or 7 games straight. So it was like a pretty eye-opening experience. And like obviously, like after you're like losing a bunch, like you're not going to play. And it was just kind of like I learned like, hey, like to keep the net, like you got to perform, you got to do well. And I think my first 2 years, I kind of like let the pressure kind of not like take over my game, but like I said before, I wasn't having much fun and like I was just kind of taking things too seriously. Like I was almost working too hard at it and like taking it like crazy serious. And then like after talks with some of my close guys, they were just like enjoy it, like have fun with it. And so my freshman year, I was just kind of like in a ball almost, where I was just like everything was wound pretty tight. But I think it was a great like growing experience and a learning experience. Just kind of like, hey, you can work hard, but like also have fun at the same time, and don't take yourself too seriously. So
Yeah, for sure. So then going into your sophomore year, you play 9 games, and then your junior year, you get in 25 games. So going from like sophomore to junior year, like what was that step in just playing from the 9 games in sophomore year, and then going into playing 25 in your junior year?
yeah, I think so. Sacco graduated my sophomore year. So junior year, I was kind of the guy. And we had Darian Hansen, who's an incredible goalie, coming in as a freshman. So we kind of went back and forth, I want to say, for like the first half of the season. And then I was playing really well. And they kind of ran with me for the rest of it. But again, it was just like you just kind of get in a rhythm, especially in college. Like you can just get in a rhythm. You're only playing 1 to 2 games a weekend. And like you have all week to prepare. So like if you have good habits and you prepare and take it pretty seriously and enjoy it, like you can get into a pretty good rhythm and do really well. So I kind of found a good balance that junior year and did really well with it.
Yeah, and confidence was probably way up there as well, especially when you're playing so many games and you're playing really well. So how important was that confidence and giving you a little confidence boost to help keep performing at the top of your ability?
Yeah, I think confidence is everything in this game. The higher up you get, I think what really separates people is just kind of believing in themselves and believing what they have. Like, but yeah, that year the confidence was through the roof, and I think it showed in the game.
Yeah, for sure. So then going into your senior year, you played in 15 games where you went 7-4-1. So like what was that last year of NCAA Division 1 hockey like, and just maybe even playing pro the next year, and just like all you have a lot to think about during that year. It's like what was senior year like for you?
Yeah, so senior year was kind of tough. I knew if I had a good year like I did my junior year, like I would have kind of signed my own way. So I kind of like got back to that, like, hey, we got to do well, we got to see numbers, and I was winning some games, but my numbers weren't that great, and the goalie partner Darren Hansen was playing really well. He's an incredible goalie, so he kind of took over, and I was never really able to get it back. Um, so it was just kind of like a different mindset, right? Like you kind of have to shift it off of like you can't be like a cancer in the locker room. You can't like just be a downer. So you have to figure out ways to like get yourself better, but at the same time make the team better. So I was just constantly trying to push guys in practice and push myself in practice, and just kind of took a whole new approach to the game, which I think that has led to a lot of success in the pros. Just kind of like rolling with the bounces, and every day is a new opportunity to get better, and every day is a new opportunity just to like enjoy it, enjoy the process. And yeah, that senior year was obviously tough because I wasn't playing very much and I was a senior, but at the same time, like I think I learned as much that year than I did any other year in my career. And I think it's really helped me today.
Yeah, and for sure. And just like all the opportunities you get from playing college, and just even if you're not playing as much, like you played 15 games and you still got an opportunity to play pro. So
Yeah.
you get that opportunity to go pro. So like what was that first pro season like, especially when you're going to Pensacola, like somewhere where you haven't been before, and just playing the SB?
Yeah. So like that season, so after my senior season, I was drafted by San Jose. So they flew me out, and I finished the year with the Barracuda. Never played a game. I was pretty much just shooter tutor for them. But I was out there for like a month and a half, and then they didn't want to re-sign me. So that my summer going into my first year pro, I was just kind of like up in the air with what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to play hockey. I knew like I wanted to pursue this. I've been doing it for my whole life. Like I wanted to see it through. So I got a chance to get an invite to Hartford's AHL camp, and I was out there for like a week and a half, and didn't stick obviously. And then started in Fort Wayne. They had signed me, and then Fort Wayne had I think like 3 NHL contracted goalies. So me and the coach had a conversation, and it was just basically like, I'm never going to play here because they're always going to have these guys that are contracted by NHL that want to see the net. So I got released from there, and then I was just like, what do I do? And I got in contact with Rod. Had never heard of the SP before, and I was just like, what am I getting myself into? And I went down there, and then I had a high ankle sprain. So the first 6 weeks I was down there, I was just sitting on the bench or like in the stands, and like did recovery or rehab and recovered, and then came back and started playing really well. And just kind of like looking back, like looking at my senior year, like that kind of just helped me like learn, hey, every day is a day to get better. I don't care if like you're hurt or where you're at and what league, and it's just you got to make the most of it. So I was making the most of it, and I was playing really good hockey, and we had a good group that year. And yeah, it was pretty eye opening to start at some would say like the bottom of the barrel, but yeah, that's where I'm at right now, and I'm just trying to work my way up through it. So.
Yeah, what a way to start your pro career, going to a few teams, then getting injured, and then playing extremely well after that. Like a bit of a roller coaster right there.
Yeah, it was definitely a roller coaster, but like I said earlier, like you gotta enjoy it, learn from it, and just kind of take every day as it comes, and do whatever you can with it.
Exactly. So like going into your first pro season, like what was your like welcome to the pros moment when you're playing?
Honestly, like we have this thing down, and I don't know if it's like a welcome to the pros moment, but we like before every game, or the practice before every game, we do like a little shootout. And in Pensacola, like the ice is like some of the worst ice I've ever skated on in my life. And we do an end of practice shootout for like a helmet the guy wears. And after, when there's 3 guys left, everyone like puts all the snow right in the hash marks. And so you're just taking pucks with so much snow, and your eyes are getting beamed. We still do it to this day. I think it's one of the most frustrating things I've ever been a part of. And like, it is the worst experience ever. But yeah, we do it the practice before every game, and it's absolutely brutal. But like, it's one of those things that like you just do. So that was one of my like eye-opening, hey, like welcome to the pros, I guess.
Yeah, all the hard snow that's been sitting out on the ice is going right at your face. No, what a feeling.
Yeah, right. Like I literally just close my eyes
And just pray you stop the puck.
Yeah, right. So
yeah, exactly. So like you last year, you were 8-3 in Pensacola. So like what was it like getting that first pro win?
yeah, the first pro win was awesome. Like obviously, like I'd been down there for 6 weeks. I've been hurt. I've been watching the guys do well, and then when I got in, I was able to get the first win. It was such a cool feeling, and one I'll never forget. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. So then throughout the rest of the season, you go to Idaho to the Steelheads where you play 2 games, go 1-1. You go to Greenville for the Swamp Rabbits where you play 6 games, going 3-1-1. So, like, what was playing in Idaho and Greenville like?
Yeah, so I got both times I got called up because of injury. So it was just kind of like one of those things where like if you get a game, you got to kind of do all to stick around. And in Idaho, it's super weird situation. So I get there and I was supposed to back up for the weekend or whatever, and the goalie who was there got called up. So like all they had was me, and then the other guy was hurt. So I got thrown into the fire right away and played well. We ended up losing. And then the next night, obviously played again and won in overtime, which was so cool. And then the guy who got called up got sent back down. So then I sat on the bench for 2 games, and then the other guy got healthy. So then I got sent back down to Pensacola, and it was just kind of like, wow, that might have been my like welcome to pros moment, where it's just like you thought you did what you needed to do to kind of stick around, and it's just like, nope, we'll see you later.
And you get sent back down.
Yeah, but like that coach and that organization is just one of the best organizations I've ever been a part of. Just class, grade A. And yeah, they pretty much called me and was like at the end of the year when I got my rights released from Greenville, and they're like, hey, we loved what you did here. We like followed you for the rest of the year, and that's how I ended up signing back with Idaho. But yeah, that was a good welcome to the pros moment. But then yeah, I got sent back down to Pensacola. Played in Pensacola for a little bit longer, and then finished the year out in Greenville. And that was one of the things where it was like I could be there for a week or I could be there for the rest of the year, and it would just kind of depend on how I did. So when I got games, like I had to do well, and I fortunately I did, and I kind of stuck around until the year ended with COVID. But it was a pretty cool experience my first year.
Yeah, that's awesome. What better teams to play for than a team called the Steelheads and the Swamp Rabbits? Like those are some pretty gnarly names.
Yeah, incredible names. I think the Swamp Rabbits might be the best like professional name I've ever heard in my life. So
the jerseys look pretty fire too.
yeah, they are really cool jerseys, sweet logo and sweet colors.
Yeah, absolutely. So then so like what was your mindset throughout all this? Like when you're getting moved around a lot, like you're going up and down the different leagues, like what's your mindset? Because obviously you could be there for a week, you could be there for a year, a day, even. Just like what was your mindset throughout all the craziness?
Yeah, I think just going back to just enjoying the process, and kind of taking it for what it is, like live day to day and do whatever you can to better yourself that day and put yourself in a better position for tomorrow. And I think it's just continued to kind of ingrain that in my mind. If like you gotta do day to day, and you gotta get better every day. And that's what I was doing my whole first year, and that's what I still do to this day. But yeah, I just think that was a crucial first year for me to kind of go through the ups and downs and kind of see the whole world of pro hockey from the highest top to the lowest peak or the lowest valley there. So it was pretty cool. Great experience.
Yeah, that's a great mindset to have, because every opportunity is an opportunity. You just got to enjoy it. Like that's all you got to do.
Exactly.
So then obviously like March comes around and COVID hits, and it's like, what was all the events leading up to into that, and just like all the craziness that must have occurred?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. Like we were supposed to be playing Florida, so we get on the ice for pregame skate at home, and then our owner comes in and kind of just says, hey, like we're going to be playing tonight, but like we could be possibly getting shut down. Like this is like, because the NBA had shut down, like everyone was kind of seeing what's going on, but no one knew how serious it was. So like the last thing we go to the rink, or we leave the rink thinking we're playing that night. We all like take a nap for pregame nap, and then we get up, and games canceled. Like don't come to the rink, games canceled, like COVID, whatever. So we thought it was maybe just that game or whatnot. So like the boys it was a good group of golfing guys there too. So like instead of playing a game that night, we made a tee time and we were at the golf course in an hour. So that was kind of funny. But then yeah, we got called in the next day and it was just like, hey, like we're gonna keep you guys around for a week. We're gonna try to make the rest of the season work. And obviously it didn't. So after that week, they just kind of came to the conclusion that the season was over and we'll pick it back up next year. And obviously like that didn't happen for I think like half the league. But yeah, it's just been crazy, like so uncontrollable and just been a wild ride. So
Yeah, for sure. So then you enter the long off season, the longest probably ever. So like
yeah,
what were some of the things that you like worked on, especially like as like hockey players, like you have to take a break,
yeah,
especially like after the season, like guys will take like a month, 2 weeks off, something like that. And then but like it ended up being like 9 months, 10 months without playing games. So, like
yeah.
what would you do to help yourself prepare for the season and not burn yourself out?
Yeah, so I picked up a couple new hobbies in like quarantine. I started reading a lot and then I started to like work on like my mind. So like I like did a bunch of like hand-eye stuff. So like I knew I wasn't gonna be on the ice too much. So I like started like the first like month I was like juggling a lot or like doing some like at home stuff that like looking back at it, it's like so like crazy that I did, but like I was doing it every day. And then I have an unbelievable like life coach and goalie coach and Larry Clemens who is getting us ice. So me and a couple other guys were started to skate pretty soon thereafter. So I wasn't off the ice too much, but yeah, like doing some at home like stuff during quarantine was kind of wild to look back at, but yeah, you kind of had to do it. There was nothing else to do. So played a lot of golf and did a lot of stuff at home.
Yeah, at least you made the most out of your time and just picked up some new hobbies,
Yeah.
got to golf. Like
Yeah.
that's never bad, and just you're able to keep your mind from the game for a little bit, and then when it was time to come back, like you're able to come back.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It was fun.
Yeah, so I have a few more questions for you before we wrap things up here. So, do you have any tips for younger goalies looking to get to that next level?
Yeah, I think just work extremely hard. Like, I think that's one of the reasons. I think that's pretty much the only reason I'm where I am today is because I just kind of enjoyed the work. Like just kind of enjoy the grind. Be all in or don't do it at all. You know what I mean? Like you have to have that mindset where like you're gonna do something, like you're gonna do it, and if not, then you're wasting your time. So I think that's the biggest thing I tell younger goalies and the goalies that I work with is just like be all in, do everything you can and do it well and do it to the hardest and your best ability. And at the end of the day, like things will fall into place.
Yeah, I love that tip. And like, if you're gonna do it, go all in. If not, then what are you doing?
Exactly. Like you're wasting your own time. So
Yeah, exactly. So my next question is, what's been like your favorite place that you've visited on the road?
favorite place I visited on the road. Um, Probably Orlando. Orlando's pretty cool. A lot of like during not a COVID year, like there's a lot of good restaurants you can go to, and a lot of fun to be had in that city. Honestly, like I fell in love with Charleston, like where we are right now. Like this place is unbelievable. Like the downtown's super cool. A bunch of good surrounding areas, good golf, and yeah, I really like it here too.
Not a bad area. Both areas not bad. Like you golf whenever you want at in those cities.
Yeah, for sure. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So my last question is for you is what's your favorite type of music? Like what are you listening to? Like when you want to get like a little lift in pregame warm up, like what are you listening to?
Yeah, so like pregame and like lifting is different than what my favorite music is. I'm a big country guy, like country. I like all music, but country's my like go to. But like if I'm before the game, like some EDM stuff or some like big booty mix or something like that. Um, that's what I usually listen to like before games.
Yeah, that's awesome. Country's blasting all day in my car
Yeah,
whenever I go on the road for sure.
yeah, I love country for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So, Jake, this has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate you coming on the show. I want to thank you for your time and I want to wish you the best of luck with the rest of the season. And if you ever find yourself in Illinois, if I ever find myself in Wisconsin, we got to
Yeah,
hit the golf links or something.
yeah, hit me up. No, it was my pleasure to be on. Thanks for having me. It was awesome. Great experience.
Yeah, thank you.